We're live.
And there we are.
There we are.
So,
Like that, just like that.
hey everybody, welcome to the PMA Sessions with Punk Rock Saves Lives. You got a fivesome tonight or sixsome. One, two, three, four, five, six.
Are you forgetting about Tina?
We're making it weird.
Always making it weird. Tina and I are both here tonight. I might be ducking in and out. I'm working on trying to get everybody their posters. I'm missing some addresses, so if you are watching and you ordered a poster during the live stream, please email me, Rob at Punk Rock Saves Lives, your address. I've got a lot, but I've been trying to email people, and I am missing some. So if you did try to get one, let me know because I need your address. Enemy Ink starts printing them tomorrow morning, and then as soon as they're printed, they're rolled and shipped directly to you. Also, that is, if you are one of our, I hate to blow the surprise, but I need to get everybody's address. If you are one of our hooligan club members of any kind, please email me your address. Once again, same place, because for some reason the computer's not giving me your address or you didn't put it in there. So you're getting one of the posters too. Surprise!
Woo!
Yeah, we were trying to make sure everybody got something cool, and the live stream poster is collectible. There will only be 175 of them printed, and most of them are spoken for, so it's pretty rad. The squirrel is back, and he is taunting our dogs big time. We
A
have
lot of things happening next
there's
to me.
there's a squirrel literally right beside us on the fence. I could probably grab him.
All 7 of them.
As I normally do, welcome in, and I want to introduce everybody. To my left is our co-host and our beautiful person, Mr. Don Falkenthal. There he is. Oh, that way.
It's hard to figure out which way to.
Dan is our resident PMA specialist and helping us with mental health in every which way but loose. We say that every week, but it is true. He does a lot of research to find it. Good, cool things and ways to cope. And he leads, along with Tina, the Monday chats on the mental health page. So PRSL Mental Health. There's a chat there every week strictly on mental health. So please check that out, join the group, and tune in. How's things going this week, Dan? Are you good?
Much better now. This is highlight of my week, so no complaints.
Beautiful. All right, to my right is our other typical co-host, and that is our awesome Mackenzie Waters. How are you this week?
Hey, I'm good. I ventured outside of my house for the first time other than a grocery store to get my hair cut because I go back to work next week. But I'm excited a little bit.
I did notice it was shorter, so that's
You look great.
Thank you. Short
God.
enough to withstand another shutdown if it happens.
Valid.
I get that.
Short enough and a lasting color.
That makes me think we found an amazing. Well, they found us actually. There's an amazing punk rock barbershop in Denver called Brixton Barbers, and
Nice.
great name. And they found us through the, believe it or not, because of Pulley during the live stream. So that was cool. I went down there. I didn't get a haircut, but I went down and took them some swag, and we're gonna do some combo stuff with them and have some cool stuff coming. Below us, we'll go to Carly first. Carly someplace.
Hello.
Carly is an amazing photographer and business owner, and she's going to be with us on the topic of body positivity this week. How are you, Miss Carly?
I'm doing good. Yeah, good. Trying to get back in the swing of things. I went back to work actually last week. So started doing sessions. I travel a lot for my photo sessions, and I was in Seattle first and then Portland, and I drove all of that from California, Nevada. So lots of driving, but it was good. It was good to be back, like shooting and all of it.
I'm so excited for you.
Yeah, I'll embarrass my wife a little. She
do it.
She did an amazing boudoir photo shoot. She is one of Carly's
Virtually.
and they did it virtually. It was pretty
We
rad.
did it virtually.
So
It was
if you
cool.
saw those pictures, this is the young lady that coaxed those pictures and made it rock. And Tina's one of her what do you call ambassadors?
My brand ambassadors.
Brand
Yeah.
ambassadors. There you go. And then last but not least, in the other corner, Miss Jen Korte. Did I say it right that time?
Close. It's Korte, but that's
Korte.
okay.
I'm trying. I'll get
That's
it right.
okay. I'll take Korte over. I'll take Korte over Court any day.
All right.
It's
Well,
got
Jen
that
is
like
also-
flair.
Jen's Lady Gang, and she also is the Dirty Femmes. If you saw her rock out on our
That was
virtual-
you?
That's
That
her.
was amazing.
Thank you.
I was mind blown. That was
Thank
my
you.
favorite moment.
Oh, right
She,
on. Thank you.
The comments while you were playing were unbelievable. I know our buddy Chris, the tattoo artist in Pittsburgh, was like, "This is going on, playing in the shop every day."
Yeah.
And everybody from Hogs and Heifers thought you were the absolute bomb. So we're gonna have to put you there sometime when we can.
I would
and
love
have a lot
that.
of fun.
Yeah, I would love that. I would love
Alright.
that.
So that is everybody this week, and we have quite a few people watching. So let's, Jen, would you be awesome enough to start us off with a song for the evening?
I will.
Awesome.
Sweet.
I feel like I'm just gonna cruise us on in there. We'll just get rowdier as the more beer you drink.
And we love it.
This is called Into the Sun. Ba-doom, 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 ba-doom. Ba-doom, 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 ba-doom. I was driving away from the city with my mind, carrying the weight of my decisions, careful not to break the mold. You grabbed my face before I left and said, "Don't leave me. Don't you know I'm never good at being very comfortable alone?" And I could never ever live to let you down, like you would never live to see me settle down. Ba-doo, 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 ba-doo. So let's go, we'll follow the stars into the morning, beyond the ridge where the birds sway as they're soaring. It's picturesque and peaceful as I swore. We are eager to know each other's bodies like the land. Take my finger, draw your portrait in the sand. Come away, come away, come away, come away with me. And I could never ever live to let you down, like you would never live to see me settle down. And I could never ever live to let you down, like you would never live to see me settle down. Ba-doo, 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 ba-doo. Ba-doo, 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 ba-doo. Dramatic.
Yeah.
Woo!
Amazing.
Nice.
I'm
That's how you
obsessed,
start a
I'm
week
obsessed
off.
with you for like a couple weeks now. This is amazing.
Well, I'm glad we could meet in such a happy accident.
Yeah.
So thanks.
Well, guys, we want to move, and we brought Carly in this week for this specific thing. We want to move into a field that, or that I don't field might be the wrong word. Sometimes I stumble, but
That's
um,
okay.
we want to move into a direction and talk about something that is a big challenge, and that is body positivity. And all of us suffer it. It's not a small person, big person. It's not. It's everybody. We all have our issues. I mean, I won't wear tank tops, and my wife wants me to, but I
I
don't.
love his arms.
But I don't like the way I look in tank tops, and that's just a small thing compared to what we want you to learn and think and consider when, especially when you're talking to other people. Um,
Mhm.
there's we heard a piece earlier, and I'm not going to step on Mackenzie, but we heard a piece earlier that it's wrong, and we want to start breaking down these walls and barriers and find our way through. So I'm going to turn it over to Carly and Tina and Mackenzie and Jen.
And
Jump in.
Dan.
Dan, I'm sure, has dug out some information.
He has.
He's great like that. I'll listen. I'll chime in, but most likely, I'm going to leave it to you experts. So bring us in.
Experts. Okay.
You're part of this conversation.
Yeah.
If you
I'm
have, if
definitely
you
part
have,
of this conversation.
yeah, if you have body positivity issues about wearing a tank top, then maybe this is the best place to talk about it. You know.
Mhm. I agree. Jen's got it. That
But
way.
also, if you have things to do, I'm not trying to.
I'm also drinking Jen's beer.
Good plug. That's her face.
That's my face.
That's your face on beer, and I think that's the coolest thing ever.
Shout out to Lady Justice Brewing for
Yeah,
sure.
I'm wearing their shirt.
Yeah. We live right down the street, so we're pretty big fans.
I'm excited. I'm gonna need some when I come to Denver then.
Hmm.
Yes. I mean, okay, Tina. Hit me with some,
tough.
I
So
get it answering questions, but not just like starting
I
talking.
agree.
I don't know.
I do know Dan has some things he wanted to say or had some thoughts, so I think that would be a good leeway.
Well, I guess as you guys stated, we all have our own stance on body positivity on ourselves more than anything. As Rob said, I'm more like one thing, and that's kind of it. So I don't have as much as I have a lot to talk about. Carly, you live for this with photography, which is amazing as a side hobby interest of mine. I love that this is what you went direction towards.
Yeah.
I guess
Show
to start-
yourself.
He's great.
Mm-hmm.
I have a bunch of your photos printed.
Yeah. But that's also part of it. Like, I think body
That is.
positivity goes into self-love a lot and with confidence in general. So keep going, Dan.
Well, thank you. I haven't picked up the camera in way too long, and I need to start because it's literally always on me.
Yeah.
I went to school for photography and I haven't touched a real camera in years and I feel really bad about it.
It's okay.
Photography is
There's a lot of money.
it's hard and it's not hard at the same time. Like, so I also went to school for photography. But after I graduated, I didn't touch a camera for close to a year. I was so burnt out. I was so exhausted.
It does.
And I knew that it's what I wanted to do, but school was so intense for me that I was like, this is just really too much in a lot of ways. And then whole other side topic, but I worked on a cruise ship for 2 years. Tina and I were trying to figure out if we'd been on any of the same, because I used to work on the Norwegian Pearl, which hosts a lot of like the music festivals and different things like that.
I'm like,
But-
were you a theater major for a small period of time? I feel like I went to school for theater, and that was like the thing. Like, you got out of school and you got on a
Yes.
cruise ship.
So photography, it was kind of like broached as a possible way to take your career and travel. And so that's kind of what started me into my like career of traveling and doing photography at the same time. But working on ships was also like another huge major burnout. But I guess I can lead into this. Working on ships also gave me such an appreciation for just body types in general and like how, and gentlemen, I mean, no offense, how American men see women versus how international men see women, and just how different bodies are appreciated in context of different countries. So working on a cruise ship, I worked with about 65 different nationalities. And as an American, I was a vast minority. So a vast minority and American female. And so it was a very interesting thing. One of the things most self-conscious for me, so statistically on cruise ships, the majority of ship crew is Filipino. And a lot of our uniforms are made and tailored towards a lot of smaller body types. So when I first got on ships, they didn't have pants to fit me for my uniform at all because my butt is real big. And literally, like, to the point where, like, I was trying to squeeze myself into these pants and set up a photography studio on a ship. And I was like, I finally looked at my boss one day and I was like, I cannot bend down. Like, this is not happening. These don't fit me. I can't do any of this. And he was like, you just need to deal with it. And I was like, you don't understand. Like, I'm literally going to bust out of my pants. And that's not how this should work. And I literally had to get, like, express permission from my manager and then written from our shoreside office to buy my own khaki pants.
Oh, that's so awful.
Yes, exactly. It was horrible. And it was just like, so the whole time I was so self-conscious in my job because I was wearing something that so dramatically did not fit me and was so physically uncomfortable and cutting into my skin. And my manager, who was a man, literally said, deal with it.
Yeah.
I was like, So I finally was like, no, I'm not dealing with it. I will buy my own damn pants and we're going to be able to move forward from there. But that whole period of cruise ships was just like led to such burnout with photography as well. But it brought me so much more appreciation for cultures, different body types, different everything, like seeing just so much different type of beauty in everything across the world, my little world of cruise ships. But yeah, photography is hard to like do day in and day out.
Yeah.
So don't feel bad, either of you. It's especially if you like love it as a hobby, not even just as a hobby. It's very hard for it to also be a career and then love it in addition to being a hobby. Like, I don't take my camera anywhere that's not work. And I can't anymore. I have to have that boundary. Because it was then like everybody would be like, oh my God, but do you have these photos from this one time? I'm like, can I get those like tomorrow? I'm like, no.
Definitely not.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's,
people expect an absurd amount of shit from photographers. You know, it's they expect everything to end up exactly how they imagined it and this and that, but they also don't want to allow you the time or the effort that it takes to get what they want. It's just like, oh, I don't know. Everybody thinks it just you click a button and it's done, and it's not.
Right.
It's not.
hours of editing.
Yeah,
I mean, I
It was
feel
doing
like
it for money that actually burned me out on it. I was like, I just can't deal with people expecting this much out of me anymore at all. Like, school was one thing, but
yeah, absolutely. And it was a while of being a photographer, getting paid, actually having it be my career, until I realized that like this body positivity direction and self-love and shooting boudoir specifically is where I wanted to go with this. So I was kind of pushed into it by one of my very good friends, who's also somebody I would consider my mentor. She's been one of my best friends for close to 10 years now. And she's also a boudoir photographer. And she was like, just try it. I think you're going to be as addicted as I am, because not only is it a high for my clients, literally, of like getting to see themselves in a completely different way. For me, it's showing them that they look that good, that they look that good exactly how they are. So for me specifically, so I do not Photoshop my clients. I will skin smooth and that's it. I will not remove things. I will not change people's waistlines. I will not change people's like physical body type. If I'm going to, and I hate this word, minimize something for people, I do it within posing, and I do it within clothing and different things like that, because I want people to understand that these photos that I am taking are you. I'm not altering you so that you're not this person in these photos. And I think that that's probably the most mind-blowing, life-altering, confidence-boosting part of it, is that I'm like, no, I did not change your body. I didn't do any of these things. I skin smoothed, because bumps and bruises, and where I live in Lake Tahoe, there's a ton of girls who come in and they're like, so I got in a mountain biking accident. I'm like, great, cool. I'll take out your scabs, because those aren't going to be there in 3 weeks. But like, you know, things like that. And I don't Photoshop people's bodies to the point where they're unrecognizable, because I don't think that that's really what accepting yourself and about having this inner dialogue of love is about at all.
Which is what it like goes against everything we're learning through social media, right?
Yeah.
Like, always filtered, always filtered, always filtered, always well lit, always, you know, like the perception.
I know, I'm looking
yourself.
at your lighting though, Jen, and I'm like, God, look at her in that lighting. I love it.
No, true
Not
story.
fair.
The story behind my lighting is that I was trying to start a slow-mo photo booth for weddings a few years ago, and I bought like a shit ton of equipment, and it just came in really handy during pandemic, specifically these giant white fluorescent lights that I keep carrying around the house. My wife's like, please get this out of my face.
I love it.
Jen has definitely had some of the better live streams. I will say they look great. She's been doing backgrounds. And
Yeah.
It's a new world. I call it continuing education.
Truly.
It honestly
I
is
like.
how we feel every day at like I call it Purcell. Punk rock saves lives. Purcell.
Mhm.
We're constantly going, okay, so we're virtual now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
We got a possibility of a festival in Florida in September, and I'm like going,
I mean, it's Florida. They don't care.
I just want to be. It's the week after what Riot Fest is supposed to be,
Okay.
and they haven't canceled Riot Fest yet. So we're.
I get a little bit nervous because Lollapalooza just did their official statement that they're not doing anything. But
And Taste of Chicago.
yeah, but like I said, I think the Florida one will at least happen because they don't care.
It's Florida.
Florida.
Not to minimize the conversation, but we have two people watching in the comments that but today is Annie Clemens' birthday, so we want to say happy birthday. And yesterday was Kevin
birthday.
Happy
Friel's
birthday,
birthday,
Annie.
so we'll say happy birthday to Kevin too. So
Happy birthday, Kevin.
Okay, so speaking of comments, and I think this will go hand in hand with what we've been like starting to talk about, is Shelby Maxwell, and for some reason I can't put it up for everyone to read, but says, going back to the mental health chat this week, it's hard to remember that what you see others post on social media is not always the truth. Oftentimes it's the rose-colored version.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
100%.
Yeah, and I know that for a fact, like for photos of me, I always pick the nice ones, and I never pick the one where like I accidentally took a weird photo of myself and I'm like, where did that gremlin come from on my phone? Because that selfie mode happens all the time. I'm telling you. Like, it's like down here, and all I see is everything I don't want to.
For me, it's either I look really nice or I post the absolute worst thing, but like nothing in between, none of the natural in between shit. Like there's a reason you guys have bugged me like 3 times now for a photo of me for the website.
yeah, we still don't have one.
I can't.
By the way,
I can't.
Come on, Carly.
You guys
Carly,
take a
get a
picture
hold of her and take a
of
good
me
picture.
for me.
Yeah, I can do it virtually.
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah,
say you could do
yeah.
it
you
virtually.
can do it virtually,
Let's
and
do
they're
it.
amazing.
I can.
Tina's whole shoot was virtual, and it was fantastic. So
Let's
Yeah.
do it. I
Yeah.
physically cannot. I've tried, so I've taken so many pictures for the website, and I just can't. It's
Well,
like
a lot
I
of
can't
it's
accept one of them.
we get so self-conscious of ourselves, especially when we're taking selfies. We're like, oh my God, this is stupid. I feel stupid doing this. But I honestly think that selfies are super important. I think that, I mean, there's so many different aspects to them. I think specifically as women, we feel like we want to take a selfie when we feel like we look good, but then we shame ourselves into being like, this is dumb. Why am I doing this? And then you like get one and you're like, okay, I guess this is okay. And then, correct me if I'm wrong, ladies, usually then you're like, okay, I'm not doing anything with that. And then like 3 weeks later, you'll scroll back and be like, oh my God, I look so good. Why didn't I post this picture?
Yeah, and then 3 weeks later, you'll be scrolling through your Instagram page and be like, why did I post that picture?
Right.
And it's just a vicious cycle. And my thing is, like, I love selfies. Selfies are great. They make you feel good. They put you in a good mood. But committing to something that'll be, like, permanent on something, I'm just, like, I don't know. You know, it's on my own page is one thing, but making it official or publishing a selfie in some sort of way, I'm just, like, makes me feel super weird. Like, I did my own senior pictures when I was in high school, and that was fine. So I don't know why I have a weird thing about it now, but.
It's just hard. It's very, I think it's, again, when it comes back to social media, everybody expects things from you or expects you to look a certain way because social media has let us present ourselves in whatever way we want, which can be super beneficial in some lights. Like you can 100% be a different person on social media than you are in real life. And that's not always a bad thing. Or you can really, but I think that the pressure that comes with that is never fun, I guess, is really what it comes down to, especially when you're like, oh, I need something for this very specifically. Like this is going on an official website. This is like whatever. And yeah, I totally feel that all the time. I'm like, people are like, oh, send me a headshot. And I'm like, okay, so well, what is this for? Like, is this going on a podcast? Is this going on an interview? Is this, if we're talking about boudoir body positivity, like, am I wearing clothes in this photo? Like, those are all things that I'm like, I literally have to like ask people to clarify.
Yeah. Will it be printed?
What type of photo do you actually want? Because like, I could give you a bunch, but they're all going to fall into these different categories. And some of them are going to be like not kosher for certain things and very, yeah, it's so hard.
Every time somebody doesn't give you direction, you just send them a nude one.
I could probably do that.
I know, but like obviously you have to be like, hey, please explain yourself further.
Right.
But
I have to say, like most of my personal social media is I'm wearing like minimal clothing, if any at all. Awesome. And I don't Photoshop myself at all. I won't even skin smooth. I 100% think that like I need to show that like I have stretch marks and I like, hi, I weigh 250 pounds. Like I'm a bigger girl. That's totally fine. And I don't need to do any of those things to modify myself if I want to continue the path that I'm on to lead by example. So of accepting ourselves and accepting our bodies and that different type of stuff. So, but yeah,
I feel like skin positivity is like almost a different conversation.
Oh, absolutely.
But I think there's also this weird thing that happened when like Snapchat became a thing and now Facebook and Instagram have both picked it up with the stories where things exist for 24 hours. Right. I will post the most ridiculous things. Like I won't edit myself for those things that only last 24 hours. You know, it's so freeing, but it's to the point where I put so much more pressure on the things that will last longer than 24 hours. Yeah. So it's just kind of, it's a weird sort of line to walk when posting images.
Absolutely.
So Carly, what do you feel like are your best practices to move through those moments when you feel like you don't want to be that raw? You know, like, I mean, so you were talking earlier about burnout and stuff, and you know, I feel the same way about music. Mm-hmm. It's like play monkey play all the time, which is okay. That's my role. That's my it's my career choice. But I definitely like my own pressure to find the right outfit for that night. And if I don't feel comfortable playing it, I'm gonna have an awful night. And just like so many nights, I can't even explain to y'all, so many nights, and this is being super honest and vulnerable, of like crying in my closet. I have no clothes that fit me. Nothing looks really good. I'm aging. What does that look like? Am I allowed to wear this? Should I not wear this? Can I dress like I want to be? You know, like I also feel like every big moment in my life, whether it's playing like a huge venue or something, I always take everybody else's advice on like how I should do my hair, what I should wear that night. And I end up being mad at myself because I'm like, I didn't even want to wear that. I didn't even want to do this thing. I just, you know, finding the best practices to be like, it's okay to feel uncomfortable in this moment. And it's okay to have anxiety about how you're presenting yourself. It's okay to have anxiety about that permanent picture you might have to have somewhere. You know, like I can't watch video. I don't really watch a lot of videos of myself after playing because I make really weird faces when I sing. I have a hard time looking at photos of concerts where I'm like in this moment where I was really feeling it and I can't even see that. I just see everything that feels weird or obscure on my body. So, you know, and I volunteer almost every year with Girls Rock Denver, and they really teach a lot about body positivity and make you take moments out of your day to be like, I love you. I feel you. This is your skin. This is our space. This is how to keep our space safe. And we just weren't, I mean, learning that as an adult is really hard. I think it gets harder as you age.
I think it's a lot of unlearning as well. Unlearning so many things that society has taught us. And so I actually, I was on a business photography podcast yesterday, very different than this, but and we were speaking about having just like this image that perpetuates in advertising of like what specifically as women, and I'm sure men, you have the exact same thing. And I'm sure for guys, it's like, oh, you need to look like, what's his face? Like any movie star, any Hollywood,
You
anything.
can look like
What's
any
his
version
face?
of Chris Pratt, but only versions of Chris Pratt.
Right.
No ripped or dad button.
Exactly. Like yeah, exactly. So those are those body standards of like, you need to look like this, you need to look like this. And I feel like as women, so the imagery that perpetuates from major marketing down into everything that we like read, feel, absorb, see, literally billboards on the side of the highway, like all of these other aspects down to like that you essentially, they want people to be a size 4'6" and have an angular jaw and have these different things. And there is such a small percentage of people who actually even fit into that. It's just disheartening. And then how women feel like we need to make ourselves look like some version of that. And that's not positive for bodies in any direction. And so kind of specifically going back to what you're saying though, and so we see those images perpetuated to us over and over and over and over again, which is why then we feel uncomfortable with our self-image for these reasons, because it's like, oh, we're supposed to look like, and I love her to all pieces, but like, let me just throw this out there as like the all-American girl, Cameron Diaz, who I love and is like a phenomenal human, but like big, white, bold smile and like the jawline and the things and the cute haircut like Mackenzie has. You know,
It's actually a
things
good
like that.
segue into like my problem.
But there's so many things like that, like I'm saying, that like just continue to perpetuate in this aspect of like, oh yeah, this is what you should see, and you feel like anything like that. And it's really hard when you do start listening to other people's advice. And so I constantly tell people that like what you put on your body, you need to feel comfortable in. So if you're having like, I don't want to say these issues of like playing these shows and doing these things, like, so Jen, what do you wear that makes you feel like a complete fucking badass?
all denim, like, all denim all the time. All denim all the time.
Like, then that's what you need to be doing, because if you put something on and like, and those are, so back to like when we're taking selfies, in those moments where we're like, yes, I'm taking a picture because I feel good about the way that I look. That's what, so the initial thought behind a selfie is I feel great about everything that I'm feeling right now. It could be, it could be my brows, could be my lashes, could be my hair, could be like, I'm having a great hair day. I'm having a great body day. I'm having a great wardrobe day, but I'm having a great anything day. And so we really need to like kind of connect with those feelings when we have them and see what it is that's giving us that great feeling, and then be able to move that into like more aspects of our lives. So for people who are like, I'm uncomfortable with my wardrobe, or this doesn't fit me, or I don't like this, get rid of it, girl. Get rid of it. If you don't like it, if you put it on and it does not make you feel 100%, get rid of it. And there's a lot of aspects of that I'm not going to be like, try your whole wardrobe. And there's things that are like the right thing for the right moment. But if you're putting something on and it makes you uncomfortable, it's not the right thing for that moment. But what you do put on and you do feel comfortable in is what you should be presenting yourself as. And that's a huge thing. Like, I don't like pants, so I don't wear them.
I don't wear.
I wear jeans every once in a while. And I spend good money on jeans so that they make my butt look real good, because that's what I have to dress my whole body around. It's the largest part of my body, and I'm going to continue to make sure that it looks the best, because when that looks good, then I feel better about everything else. And so those are the type of things of like, even down to like wearing your hair a certain way, doing all those things. When you recognize the things that do make you feel good about it, you just kind of need to go in that direction and trust your own self, because you're then letting yourself feel beautiful in your own way.
Well, I think there's been like a shift. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good. You're good.
We're excited about it. Yes.
I think there's been a shift in the music industry. You know, I am going to be 38 in 2 weeks. So part of my music career life was, what kind of package are you? can we
Right.
market you? What do you look like? I've had several times in my life as a musician where I'm like, would I be further in my career if I were 50 pounds lighter, if I dress like this? Like, those are honest questions that I think that I've worked, you know, I've been in music for 20 years. So I've moved through that, through those cycles, but also like, I think the music industry has shifted to where they want you at your most genuine self. So there's a mind shift around, are you going to fit this package, to are you your most genuine self? And so I think that's where I grew into that, probably around 30, just really not caring. I'm pretty confident in what I wear because I do know what makes me feel good, and so I go to that and I go to that and I go to that. But the other part of it is not even trying to do what other people tell you, but, you know, like for me right now, it's aging. Under my hat, I'm like, you know,
do you want to see the
100% white
in my
gray.
hair?
I'm gonna say I'm into gray. Carly,
I do. I have a full white streak right here.
I call it the Corona Chrome.
So jealous.
And it's like,
Look at that.
so white. And
I think it's
yeah,
great.
but I feel like as for men, it's like a distinguishable feature. We've been taught like you're super hot once you go gray. And women, I'm like, well, I'm not 40 yet, so I'm not ready to grow this out. Well, also my hair is really long, so my in-between stage would last for like 5 years.
Right.
But that stigma of like, you know, I've got to wear a hat everywhere I go because I have this white hair, which on one side I love, one side I'm like, how long can I grow it out? How weird am I going to let it get? You know, my friend told me today, he was like, oh, you're really letting that like inner cat lady out with that gray hair, you know? And we laughed about it. I wasn't offended at all. I thought it was hilarious, but trying to learn to accept part of aging, but to do it in a graceful, thoughtful, confident way. And I feel like, I don't know how old y'all are. I'm just speaking from my own perspective, but
I think it's great. I had a friend who was completely gray, and I mean like hair my length, completely gray before she was even 30. And I have to say, like, I still kind of wish I had her hair.
In now, like I dyed my hair actually gray for every single month for like 2 years, you know, because I'm super sad I will never get that. But I think really what a lot of it comes down to for anyone, no matter what, you know, gender, sex, age, anything, it's all, or size is all about confidence, which is a learned behavior. And it's not something that sticks around forever. You look good if you feel confident. And there's no normal body type. I mean, as somebody who has grown up her entire life with the Cameron Diaz like features and the impossibly thinness, which honestly, when I was a kid, when I was in early high school, I was so shy and so just like huddled behind things. Everybody thought I was super weird, that I would get made fun of because everyone thought I was anorexic. The popular girls were allowed to be skinny, but I wasn't. Somebody wrote purge on my locker because they just thought I was throwing up. Like, it was absolutely insane. A lot of that was genetic. A lot of it was due to being on Dexedrine since I was 7. But then, you know, it's just something that I struggled with my whole life. I finally was able to gain a little bit of weight because I got really into sort of like competitively eating to like prove myself, and gained a little bit of weight then, and then looked back and decided, wait, the only thing that was pretty about me was how skinny I was. So then I went into anorexia and lost it again. And it's just been all up and down. And finally, you know, I've settled into where I'm happy and I'm kind of aware of those issues, and I try to stay healthy about it. But I've been kicked out of so many body positivity conversations just because I have that figure. And I'm like, it has nothing to do with what you have. It's how you feel about it and how the world has treated it, no matter what.
It really is. And there's so many people who do shame people with your body type, Mackenzie. They're like, oh, well, you have exactly what I want, so you shouldn't be upset about it. And that's so unhealthy.
I believe
In
that.
so
I've
many
been
ways,
told that so many times that I fully believe that I don't belong in this conversation. So like an hour before we did this, I texted Tina. I was just like, hey, like, you don't have to just drag me along because I'm here every Wednesday. Like, I understand if I shouldn't be a part of this. I don't.
No, I think your perspective is super
I
important.
think you belong here. You 100% belong here. So do Dan and Rob, because I mean, we as women are discussing this a little bit more, but men have their own issues as well within body positivity. And I think that, like, truly body positivity is for everybody. Every single person has their things that they're self-conscious of. And so, like, I don't want to sound self-centered, but like there's so many, like, people look at me and they're like, oh, well, you're so confident and like your curves are just like really proportionate and all this other stuff. And I'm like, yeah, but you don't know what I don't like about myself. I couldn't give a shit about my stomach. And I love my big butt. I hate my
say,
knees.
it looks good on you. It's okay
Right.
on you. Like,
right.
What does that even mean?
Yeah. And like, I hate my knees more than anything.
So do I.
I think
I have this huge hatred for my knees.
I really, really dislike them. And like how do you, in my brain, I'm like, how do I work out this spot right next to my knees to make it slimmer? Because if it was slimmer, I would like it. And I just don't think there's a workout for that muscle group.
My thing is that when I was like 12, I was wearing shorts to a family function, and my aunt was like, oh my God, you have the knees. I feel so bad for you. And I had never thought about my knees until that moment. And I have not forgotten about my knees in 17 years. Like,
well,
it's just,
that's what,
it's amazing because
that's what generation, that like generational internalization that we've gone through, that our moms went through and their sisters went through. I mean, when I first started going gray, I was like, Mom, why didn't you know? And she was like, well, I've never not dyed my hair. Like, your grandmother has never not dyed her hair, you know. And my mom is an esthetician, and my mom is a very successful esthetician and owned a spa and was a professional model when she was younger. So I spent a large period of my life comparing myself to my mom. Oh, well, my mom was a size 0 in her 20s and my mom was a 4, and I've always been thick. Like, I've been a 10, 12 to 14, 16 my entire life, like since I grew C-cup boobs in 7th grade, and like have always been that way. So I've always been thick. And, you know, to Mackenzie's point too, like my wife is oh, that's okay. My wife is a 5'10" blonde woman, like who gets a lot of attention, and we joke about it a lot because I'll be like, oh, I'm just your like weird little boyfriend over here, you know, like they must be like, who's this weird little boyfriend? Because I've been disrespected so many times as her wife, walking down the street, holding her hand and having some guy come up and grab her and be like, oh, you're really hot, which is something like they would never do to a man holding their wife's hand. You know what I mean? But so that's a different thing.
Actually,
but yeah, go ahead.
Serious conversation, though.
They do still do that in some ways, Jen. I've watched so many people hit directly on her in front of me in bars and at concerts and stuff when I'm literally standing right there.
Mm-hmm.
And you just go, excuse me, bud.
Mm-hmm.
And they go, oh, and kind of walk away. But and she doesn't see it. She doesn't see when it happens, but it does happen. It's really strange.
But every time it happens, it triggers like this whole list of shit for me. That's like, you weren't even noticed. They didn't even acknowledge your existence. I can't tell you how many times that's happened, where it's like we're the only 2 people in the area, and it's a beeline for the wife. And she handles it with grace, of course, but it's in those moments where like, okay, why am I so triggered about this? Outside of being disrespected, now it makes me immediately compare myself to my wife, which is weird.
Yeah, you want to do that? That's not something you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like that forced. It's like the world forces inadequacy on us in so many
100%.
It's just, I just don't. It's hard. It never gets easier either.
Well, the inadequacy rolls itself into like the keeping up with the Joneses mentality. Right.
Yeah,
so like inadequacy is a part of like consumerism and this whole other thing about like, how do we get you to keep buying and keep feeling like you're inadequate?
The beauty industry is multi-billions of dollars.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Because in so many ways, the beauty industry pushes, you need to look this way to feel beautiful, to look beautiful, to be portrayed as beautiful, or any of these things. And it's like, but why?
And how do we keep up with that when high schoolers are better at makeup than I am at 30?
Right.
Like,
But they've grown up with the internet and YouTube tutorials.
They grew up with a flat iron, first
how
of
am I
all.
supposed to- yeah.
See,
That
that's
too.
also true. Yeah, I grew up with like all my makeup is honestly like theater related. Like I was like, how do I do this to look like different?
Right.
I would grow up watching the Drew Carey show. And I'm like, is that how I'm supposed to do my makeup?
Right.
I would be
Just
into it.
blue up to here in the 90s.
Honestly, Mackenzie, you would rock it. So
Yeah, you would.
I don't know.
I know. I spent the,
Not
we
gonna
spent
find out.
the most time of our childhood walking around in like Bugle Boy jammer shorts and like no shirt, no makeup, no nothing, just walking around.
Well, that's like, I just the ridiculous makeup, the super shiny glitter lip gloss, and like make yourself as shiny as and sticky, and like heaven forbid you have hair that touches your lips and then it's never coming out, and then it's in your hair and then it like sticks together, and it's just like, and so it's really hard. So I occasionally, very, very rarely, shoot senior portraits for high school, and it is like, oh my goodness, these children, because that's literally what they are, 17-year-olds. I'm like, first of all, my mother would have never let me out of the house in what you're wearing. Like little crop tops and all this other stuff, which looks really cute. But I also think, though, that in the regard of what their generation has grown up with, high schoolers now, and even people who I'd say are probably like 21, 22, they have this whole other concept of confidence because they have grown up pretty much having YouTube as a source and all of these other things saying like, you can wear whatever you want and you can do your makeup however you want. And not only can you do your makeup however you want, here's a tutorial to make it look bomb, whether you're trying to like cosplay anybody on the face of the planet, or you're going to be like, be yourself and do all this other stuff. And I think that so much of that generation is breaking a lot of these barriers that we're talking about because we are older than them and we've grown up with this perpetual, like, be this person, be this person, be this person. And they're like, but why? And I think that that's a really good thing, but it's hard as we're getting older to be like, why does this child know how to make themselves look better than I do? Like, what is contour?
It's like the added cost of they're all over sexualized now as well. Like I remember everything that was happening to Billie Eilish, like the virtual like bust of her where she was like naked that like Vanity Fair did. She's like, why are you making a 16-year-old or 17-year-old look this way? Like, why are you sexualizing me? Or like I'll be on Millie Bobby Brown's Instagram and it's just all these men being like, you turn me on. I'm like, oh my God,
she's a child.
So terrifying to me.
Yeah. So finding the balance between your own, when we say body positivity, like, let's be clear about it. We want to accept our bodies as they are and celebrate them. And it's hard to feel like you want to celebrate your body in a world that's taught to be so sexualized and scary. But I think we're moving forward in that. I would hope that we're moving forward in that. I think with things like the Me Too movement or just people having hard conversations about what they should and should not say to women. I mean, during that whole period of time, I had several men call me and be like, have I ever disrespected you? Did you ever feel this way? And I'm like, kind of, maybe. Maybe sometimes. So I think it's a whole big, giant connected ball of healing, right?
It really is. There's so much that goes into it. There's like every avenue just kind of like leads into it, and how we feel about ourselves and how we think we feel about ourselves and how we want to feel about ourselves. And so something that you said earlier, Jen, maybe it was Mackenzie, that confidence is a taught thing. Like it's a learned habit. And I 100% truly believe that. And so, not that Tina's here at the moment, but I don't know where Tina went. But I think that, so I have a huge community of, it's almost 6,000 women that I essentially every day, oh, there they are. There's the Rushings.
Sorry, my computer decided to quit.
That's all right.
Oh, okay. Well, so I was just saying, Tina, so Tina is one of my brand ambassadors. Tina's actually my only brand ambassador that I haven't met in person, but I love her so much, obviously. And so when I run this community, and it's a huge, massive community, and there's so many women who are in there who are like, I would never have the confidence to do this. And I 100% comment and say, I'd like to challenge you to say that this is a learned habit. You don't want my confidence, you want your confidence, and that's something that you can learn, because that's the comment that I get over and over again. I wish I had your confidence. I'm like, okay, but you don't need my confidence. I need my confidence and you need your confidence. Those are separate things. And they are something that can be learned. And a lot of it starts with kind of like what I was saying before, of being like, this is like what you put on your body, and what you do that makes you feel the best about yourself is the direction that you need to go in order to find your confidence and then build upon it. And those are separate things. And there are, again, so many avenues that come into it. And this community that I have is wonderful. But there are some very trying days of people telling me, well, I could just never be like that. I can't understand. I'm never going to like myself like that. And that like hurts my soul every day when women tell me that. And it's a huge challenge to, I don't want to say educate people that confidence can be learned and it's not just inherent.
Well, so like, so that goes to like, what are the tools? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, those tools. So one of my biggest things, and I say this is when people ask me for like an actionable step. First thing is always like, if you have something in your closet that makes you feel so uncomfortable, or it is your, goal for something, when I lose or gain this much weight, or when I have all of these other different things, like this is what I'm going to wear once I finally fit into this, To some extent, yes, have goals, but like if you're looking at that and it's making you feel bad about yourself every single day, fucking get rid of it. Don't do that. Don't put that pressure on yourself, literally in your own home, in your own space, in your own closet, to fit into something specifically. And then from there, like I feel like everybody has, one thing in your closet that you're like, you put it on and every time you just like, you pull at it, or you're like, okay, but like, why doesn't this fit the way that I want it to? If you've done that more than once, get rid of it. Like if it's not going to fit you the way that you want, like, and it's so hard because we do, like, as I'm getting older, I spend a lot better money on clothes because I want better clothes. I don't want things from places that are literally just going to like fall apart when I wash it. But if I have something that does not fit me right, it's out of my closet, because I want to take anything out of my closet, put it on, and know that I'm going to feel confident wearing it because I know that it makes me feel good. And the other step for that, and this is probably definitely more a woman thing than a man thing, sorry, gentlemen, is underwear that you put on your body. If you start with like, literally, we were talking about not wearing bras, great, I'm all about that, like freeing all of these other things, but like literally, if you're putting on like, not to be like gross period panties, sorry everybody if that's like too much for people, but like if you're putting on those things,
apologize about that,
right? So if those are the things that you're wearing every day and they make you feel frumpy or they make you feel anything, goodbye, like get rid of it. And I'm not saying like, go spend all this money on like nice underwear or whatever, but like put on something that makes you feel cute, put on something, because that's the first thing that you're putting on in your body. And there's a lot of people who are like, I just don't wear underwear. More power to you. But
there's also ways to like,
one of my other brand ambassadors is like zero underwear ever. So
that's all I could think of was what underwear.
I mean, God,
yeah, me
just
too.
getting rid of things that you're like goal weight.
Yeah.
I kind of hate that I describe myself as like on the opposite spectrum of like the body positivity thing, but I was finally at like what I believe to be like a healthy weight for me. And then I stopped drinking and I lost 20 pounds that I couldn't afford to lose. And I cannot get it back. And I have all those clothes. I'm like, I will gain this back so I can wear those. There's no sense throwing it away, but it's just not happening. And like, I don't know. It's just, I feel like, should I just toss it? And I think I'm going to do that tonight.
Well, finding the balance between whatever, not drinking gives you like some sort of mental peace to try to pair that with the body piece, right?
It's so weird. Like I had a conversation with myself about a year ago. I was like, maybe I'll drink long enough to gain my weight back and then I promise I'll stop. And then obviously I was like, that's super dumb.
That's not a thing.
It's just kind of it's just weird how the whole idea of my body just fucks with me and all the other forms of my mental health.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you find moments of peace in that, Mackenzie?
I just try to distract myself from it. when I do it, a lot of times I'll just like force myself to eat. I will like remind myself to take a multivitamin, just remind myself that I am doing everything right and being as healthy as I possibly can, and that there's nothing that I could be doing better or worse than I am.
Right.
And then I just have to accept where I'm at. But I also just wear a lot. I cover up a lot more than I used to, which I think is part of I'm confident in my inner peace. And I need to show this off. I don't need to like assume that the only pretty thing about me is my thinness or whatever. But it's just always back and forth. I have good days and I have bad days.
Right.
Yeah,
And it's dismantling those things that society's told you for so long, which is incredibly hard. Incredibly hard.
That's big for me. I'm
Boys,
sorry, Rob.
yeah. How does it work in the man world, or should we tell you how it works?
Yeah.
It's weird, you know, I kind of stumble through things, but I don't like taking my shirt off in public. It's just not my thing, and kind of plays into that thing I said about tank tops at the beginning. And it's just a self thing. I don't know why. I just kind of, it always has been. And I forced myself when we were on the last Flag and Molly cruise to walk around the island all day with no shirt on, and it was different. You know, I was trying to force myself to be uncomfortable and comfortable at the same time. And it's nothing compared to what most women go through. I mean, body positivity is a huge thing to everybody, but it's definitely targeted at women more than men. It just is.
I do think it's both, though, because I think of all my friends who are men who are super skinny, and even with like, and I'll let you know, like Chris Pratt with his dad bod was my absolute.
Tina, I cannot hear you at all.
Oh, sorry about that. I'm
watching you.
I can hear.
I can hear.
Just watching you say
Yeah.
nonsense.
Oh, really? Am I?
I do not know, but I'll try. For me, it's they do kind of single it out when the whole dad bod thing was a craze. Anyone who wasn't that was considered not attractive.
Yeah.
And I just think we don't see it as much with guys as we do with women. It's every day, but I think it's there.
Well, I think they've been taught to not be as vocal about it, maybe.
Well,
you know.
and one of the things about men, and obviously I can speak to this, is we lose our hair, and when we lose our hair, it becomes and now women do as well, but as we lose our hair, it becomes almost a shaming at times. There is a segment now that women find a bald man attractive, and but we've been told our whole lives the minute you start losing your hair, you're less of a man. And I know that comes from, the Brad Pitts of the world at 56 years old and still looks like a golden god, and the rest of us, I'm 50 and I've been basically the same body size, fluctuating 5 to 15 pounds for 30 years, so we just have to learn to deal in a way. It's a little different. I don't know if we get as publicly shamed or sometimes. And one of my biggest pet peeves in the world is hearing how mothers have destroyed their daughters. It's really a tough thing, because to hear so many women talk about how their mom put this pressure on them their whole lives, and it irks me more than anything I can say.
A lot of that's been passed down for generations.
Yeah.
So one thing
definitely generational, and I think we probably all of us are probably the age that we probably lived through experiencing that. I mean, I know that my mom has kind of realized it now and then since changed and like made apologies and whatnot, but it's just, is how can you can't really blame somebody for something that they didn't know was wrong or that the world hadn't decided was wrong yet. You know,
Well, yeah, and that's how they were groomed.
Yeah,
It's hard. It's
but it's
so hard.
Definitely it's sad, and I hope that Generation Z is better off for all of the emotional labor we've done to figure it out.
Yes.
Well, and to your point, Rob, about comparing yourself to like Brad Pitt or whatever, I think we all have to remember that you're talking about somebody who has access, right? Well, he has access to a personal cook, and he has access to a personal trainer, and he has access to whatever products anybody wants to give him that will help him, or access to those high-end vitamins and access to the potion from Death Becomes Her. I'm convinced that's what he drank, but you know what I mean? Like they have, there are accesses to things that we don't have. And that comes down to, what we put in our bodies and healthy food. And there's a whole other economic conversation about access to health and what that looks like. Especially in the midst of a pandemic. But, I've been trying to work out through the pandemic and I hate it. Let's get it straight. I hate working out. I hate it. Like I have hated it. I was like the kid in 5th grade who'd pretend my ankle was hurt so I didn't have to run in gym class. Like that was me.
Before I knew what menstrual cramps were, I realized that the PE teacher would let me sit down if I said I had cramps.
You're like 8 years old.
Yeah. No, so I was like 12, but every week I've got cramps. She's like, you should probably go to a doctor.
Right. You're kind of a little.
I thought it was just food cramps, and she was just super sympathetic, because that was the first time.
But it's like shifting that, like I'm not working out to look better. That is a result, maybe. I mean, I've seen a little bit of a result, but it's the only thing that's helping control my anxiety during a pandemic. How can I work out to keep my brain calm? Whether it's 2 days a week, and it doesn't have to be, it's 25 minutes, 2 days a week. That's what I'm trying to hit. But the noticeable difference in whether I try to find an outlet to relieve my stress that's not music, that's not eating, because I'm also like an eater. I'll eat when I'm sad. I eat when I'm bored. I eat when I'm hungry. I eat when I'm happy. So finding ways to create body positivity because I'm creating mental positivity.
I love that. Yep. And you just blew my mind because I don't work out kind of specifically for the reason that I hate constantly thinking about my body, and I've always put working out and what my body looks like in the same box.
Right, we all have.
And it's great for my brain.
I think we all have,
is an additional sort of benefit, but that should be the first benefit. It shouldn't be about the rest of it. Should be.
But it takes motivating to feel those endorphins shift a little bit for me to stay motivated to do it, because it's very easy for me to be frozen by anxiety in a world that feels very chaotic and to just sit in that. So body positivity, your brain is your biggest organ of your body, not your biggest organ, but the most important organ of your body. Maybe not. I don't know.
The most argumentative.
I don't know. The most influential, let's say that, the most influential organ of your body. So when you talk about body positivity, obviously we're talking about mental health. But to say that out loud and is your body positivity what you're doing to keep your mental health positive? I don't know. And it's not easy. Change is not easy. I hate it. But I see the difference in my mental state and how much I can take and how much stress I can take or emotional stress I can take if I'm not moving my body. And that's the first time I've said that in public, that I've been trying to work out. Because I also don't want the accountability either, right? And then there's the other thing where it's I'm not I see these people who are like, hey guys, I'm gonna work out online, I'm a live stream so I can be held accountable. I don't want that shit, because if I do that and I don't work out, then you have a well of snowballing pressure and guilt and shame and blah 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 blah.
So I did a trainer to try and keep me accountable, and I was 3 months and I'll be in the habit of just going on my own. That didn't happen. I never went again.
Yeah, for me it's about nature. I've switched my idea of working out in a gym to I'm going to go hike, because one, I've learned that nature makes me feel better. being out there, being honestly by myself with my dog. And I am getting the exercise I don't normally do. Like when I was in West Virginia, I compared, it's gonna be awful, I compared my miles in West Virginia to my miles that I was the first month of quarantine. And it was like 30 times.
Yeah.
Well,
You can breathe.
Yeah.
well, I hate to jump in, but we're hitting about, we usually do about an hour and 15 minutes, and we're at an hour and 5 already. And we haven't heard a song from Jen in a while.
I'm
It's,
fine with that. I feel like a productive conversation is important, you know.
I do too.
I'm like Schrodinger fine with it. Like it's been a good conversation, but I also am really bummed we haven't heard Jen say it.
We are kind of your real, like we really enjoy you, Jen. So
Thank you. Dan, do you have anything to say over there?
I know I'm quiet this evening. Having you guys all on, having Carly and Jen, really just eye-opening. I'm reading the comments more than anything, and it's just so great to see the impact you guys are having, along with your regular daily lives. I mean, that's why we have people like you on, the friends that you are. Giving you a platform to speak was the main goal, and you guys did it above and beyond. And that's why I've just been kind of off to the side, because having you guys on is just great. So thank you.
damn.
Thank you.
All right, I'll play you guys a song.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
do
see
a
the look
song.
on your face, Rob.
And
Let's
we'll
have a
do closing
song.
comments. We'll say more.
I like
Yeah.
music.
So before Lady Gang and before before Lady Gang, and I can still hear that echo. It's weirded me out. All right, I'm gonna turn it down. Okay, before Lady Gang and before Dirty Femmes, but during Dirty Femmes, I also have an Americana band that I started in Denver with. So these songs that I'm playing tonight are from my Americana band. I just changed my strings, y'all, and I'm a professional, so. All right, here we go. All right, on the topic of body positivity, this is mental positivity. It's called I Love You, and don't forget to know how to say that to people. Go check your army for all your guns and grenades. If we don't agree, you can just blow us all away. I'll build my army of poets, lovely serenades. We will capture you with the broken strings and the confidence to say, I love you, I love you. I love you, I love you, I love you. Why is it so hard for you to just let me have my own way? I've been saving squandered opportunity for a rainy day. And in these days of doom, lingering words are put out to float away. Instead of capturing them with ink pens, creatively to say, I love you, I love you. I love you, I love you, I love you. So let's run, let's hide our faces. We are being haunted by our disgraces. Can you help me find my place in this mayhem before I turn to ashes? Ba-da-da-da-da, ba-da-da-da-da, ba-da-da-da-da. Ba-da-da-da-da, ba-da-da-da-da, ba-da-da-da-da. Slowly I'll sell my soul if the money is alright.
Slowly I'll dig a hole to come out on the other side. Slowly you'll steal my words to build a hate you can't describe. Slowly we'll be sterilized from having some insight to say I love you. I love you, I love you, I love you. So let's run, let's hide our faces. We are not meant to die young, we'll not replace men. But I can help you find your place in this mayhem before I turn to ashes and float away. Yeah, and ba-da-da-da, 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 ba-ba-ba-ba, ba-da-da-da, 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 ba-ba-ba-ba, ba-da-da-da, ba-da-da-da, boom, boom.
Woo!
Nice.
Girl.
I have zero words.
I'm seriously obsessed with
Well,
you.
Jen, how can people find your music? Tell us where to
man.
find everything.
I'm in 4 bands. You can just Google my name and all kinds of things will pop up. Jen Korte and the Lost, Korte and the Lost, LOSS, is my more like blues, rock, Americana band. All the songs I were playing today. Lady Gang is my solo project, so that's at Lady Gang Music. And I usually try to cross post everything through at Lady Gang Music, so it's just easier to find me there. But you can also look up the Dirty Femmes. We don't play very much. It's kind of a celebratory every now and then special occasion thing. And then I'm in a 90s band.
What?
Yeah, I'm in a 90s band called Sega Nemesis. And we play everything from Smashing Pumpkins and Butthole Surfers to TLC. I mean, you never know what you're gonna get. But
Hell yeah.
if you just follow Jen Korte, you'll find all my things. So.
And one of the biggest things about Punk Rock Saves Lives that we want everybody to know is that artists are supporting us and helping us do amazing things in the world, and so we beg you to support them. Carly, how can people find you and get some amazing photography?
Okay, so I can be found in a couple different avenues as well. My personal Instagram, where I discuss a lot on my own body and body positivity in general, but mostly from my own spectrum and not from my clients. I'm at Carly Someplace. My business Instagram, where I showcase all sizes and types and everything. Boudoir, I also shoot weddings. I like love in general. Self-love, real love, all the things. Not that self-love's not real love. True love with one other person. So that is at Someplace Images. And then importantly, specifically for a lot of women, Tina's so excited.
It's my favorite. It's a life-changing thing.
It's a life-changing thing, I guess, is my Facebook group. So I have a community of almost 6,000 women where we specifically discuss bodies and positivity struggles, the struggles of being a woman and womanhood in many aspects. And that is, you can find it on Facebook. It is Someplace Boudoir and Glamour. So that's where I essentially first met Tina. She was added in by a mutual friend. Obviously, she's now one of my brand ambassadors. And I get to meet Tina in person for the first time next month. Where we'll be taking more boudoir photos. I'm incredibly excited. But yeah, so my Facebook group is 100% centered around body positivity and accepting any and all body types, because everybody deserves to have body positivity. Mackenzie, I'm looking at you. So that is definitely where I would say the majority of people can find me. And then specifically my website is someplaceimages.com.
Nice.
All right, Mackenzie, I know we didn't get to much more than body positivity this week, but what do we need to do to keep on the gas? What's going on?
I've actually got, there's something that I've been thinking about a little bit this week when I was writing, and it applies to body positivity, but I feel like it also applies to that. I just wanted to remind everybody of the definition of average, which is the mean of a set of data. So there's this data and that data. There's all kinds of different data, and average is literally the middle of all of that. You put it all together, divide it up, it is that. It is not normal. Average and normal are not the same thing, and average is not a goal. So I just wanted to kind of put that in everybody's hearts, just to think on that. There is no such thing as normal. Average is not a goal. So just do what you got to do and do what makes you feel good, and you'll be just fine.
All right, that's awesome. Dan, give some people a couple of tips for the week.
Man, I think Mackenzie topped out anything I could say, because that is straight on key. It really is. Self-care, self-love, all the above. It's why we have Carly here. It's why we have Jen here. Very thankful to have them to be able to speak about their lives, personal endeavors, and all the above. So thank you both.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for the work that you guys do out in the world. We need you too.
Yeah, 100%.
We need
Tina,
each
do you
other.
have anything to close with?
I guess the only thing I have to close with, and it's kind of something that I originally told Carly when I wanted to be ambassador, is it's so easy to see the positives in everyone else. It's easy to be body positive for literally every other person on the planet but yourself. And one of the things I have learned is to actually kind of look at myself as I look at a stranger.
Yeah.
Because for me, every person I see, there's something amazing and beautiful and wonderful about them. And then I look in the mirror and I go, huh. And that looking at someone going, yes, or like being, I know like we have a lot of people who are sober, but I feel like a lot of us have had that moment of being a drunk girl or a drunk guy in a bathroom. It's kind of how I think of it, is like, you tell that person you love them, you love their
Those
shoes.
are my favoriteest memories.
That's what I mean. I've made
Drunk in a
friends for
bathroom.
life. I have friends
Oh,
that
yeah.
I've known for over a decade, meeting them in a bathroom. And I feel like just treating yourself the same way.
Yeah, it's like
Like a drunk girl in a
uninhabited.
bathroom with-
Yeah, it's like uninhabited celebration, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
no hold back, like celebrate yourself. And I'll give my tip, and we've talked about it, it's wearing things that you love. Like the amount of times yesterday I was wearing literally a tulle skirt. That's it. A tulle huge skirt. And so many people said they loved it. And I was like, it's my favorite. Like today was a great day.
Can I give a little challenge to people
Yes.
of something to do in action? Okay, two challenges. Challenge one: get rid of something from your wardrobe that makes you feel uncomfortable. Like goodbye. Challenge number two: take a Post-it note and write 3 things that you like about yourself that have nothing to do with your body, and put it on a mirror and look at it every single day. Because confidence starts with character, not necessarily everything that you're looking at in the mirror.
Yes.
Then later you can add on things that you like about yourself body-wise, but write 3 things that you like about yourself that have nothing to do with your body and why those things are good.
That's awesome. I love that advice.
You're my favorite.
Do that.
Do that. Rob said
Is
so.
it
I
possible
said
to
so.
feel personally attacked, but like with love?
100%.
Right now.
Mackenzie, can we be friends and I will personally attack you with love every single day?
Yes.
She will though. 100% she will.
I will.
Personally
I will.
attack people with love.
Well, to wrap it up on my side, I want to tell everybody that all of us out there protesting and standing up for the rights of others, we cannot express our love and our gratitude, and we want everybody to keep on the gas. That's been our thing. Keep your foot on the gas. We don't want it to calm down and lose its momentum. We finally are seeing people
Change.
actually care.
Amazing things are happening. It is working. Please keep at it.
Yep.
This is not when you get complacent. Complacency is the opposite of what we want.
Yeah.
And if you live in Denver and you've been marching and you're tired, hit me up. I will bring you a meal.
Yes.
I will bring you
Yep.
what you need to help recharge. So please find me and hit me up. That's my way of contributing right now. So please hit me up if you need supplies, if you need water, if you need somebody to roll up at 3 p.m. and just throw cases of water out of the car at you. I can do that. So please let
That's
me
a
know.
brilliant role to have. That's amazing.
This.
I think that
Support
stands. I think that stands for every one of us. If you need bail money, we'll do what we can.
Mhm.
But please remember to be. What's the word I'm looking for? Let's be vigilant,
Focus.
but let's be polite, and let's get our point across and stand up for those that can't. You can be an anarchist or whatever you're saying, but that doesn't necessarily get across what we need right now. We need people to understand the plight of the underserved and the people that are being systematically race used. It's sad, and we don't know any other way to stand other than we stand for everyone. And I think everybody here agrees with that. And we've seen negative and positive through a lot of this push. And I think the positives are going to always outweigh the less. I close every week by telling everybody that I love every single one of you. I will fight for every single one of you. Stand tall, be strong, believe in yourself. And after listening to all of this, be body positive. You're all beautiful. Every single person has its beauty. I love you guys. Anybody?
That's it. I love you.
This is good.
See ya. Thank you, everybody. We love you. Tune in
Thanks,
Monday
guys.
for Dan and Tina. And Carly, please keep pushing the positivity. And Jen, you are earning fans by the second.
We love you.
I do want to do a special thank you to Mr. John Ghazi for
Yeah, my boy.
introducing me. John introduced me to Jen, and it's finally all coming together. It's a beautiful thing. So
I agree. Thank you, John Gazi.
Yes.
One love.
That's my boy.
up the punks.
I'm ending it. Maybe. I don't know how to end things.